Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Two Nerds and a Podcast. Today we're talking about a topic that I love, which is Bridgerton.
Woo! I've never seen it, but woo!
Oh my gosh, Casey, you would love it. I think honestly Queen Charlotte is probably going to be your favorite character if you ever get around to watching it. She's a hoot. I love her.
Wait, what streaming service is it on?
It is on
me
Netflix.
And the viewers.
It is a Netflix original. Well, I say Netflix original. It is, but it's not. It's based on a series of books. But Netflix is the studio that made it.
Yes.
But it's basically Regency era. I don't want to say like Gossip Girl necessarily, although like gossip is the core of the show. But it's like a Regency era drama show. It's honestly, I love Bridgerton. I remember when it first came, season 4 came out, which is why I wanted to talk about Bridgerton today. But I do remember when the first season came out, because it's supposed to take place in Regency era London, England. Not necessarily I guess it would be in London. But it's like Bridgerton, even though it has a historical base, it is considered a fantasy because it's almost like an alternate universe kind of situation. So it's not meant to be historically accurate. It's meant to be reminiscent, but also very fun and fanciful and very exaggerated of that time. So it's a lot of fun. If you like drama and very beautiful costumes and beautiful makeup and also very amazing classical instrumental covers of modern day pop songs, Bridgerton is where it's at. It's also very spicy. So don't watch with your mom or any of your parents for that matter.
I'll watch it with my mom. She's chill with that.
Yeah, she'd be down. I lost my train of thought. Casey, you're too good. You're too funny.
Sorry, my bad.
Absolutely derailed me.
I will say, since you lost your train of thought anyways, I really do like the outfits are really, really pretty.
So pretty. The costuming
and the dress
department
that you made, like
my little rainbow
in honor of the show.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Thank you. I really want to make another one, but more like in line with Bridgerton. But now that Joanne's Fabrics is gone, R.I.P. Joanne.
Rip.
Sourcing fabric has become a lot more complicated. Because like now my options are online or LA Fashion District, and I don't really like either of those options. And also like
sucks.
Usually I would like thrift stuff like that. But I don't know if you're in a different state, so your thrift stores might actually still be really good. Like when I go to Oklahoma, thrift store is 10 out of 10. And not just because like Natalie's family owns 3 of them. But like to California thrift stores, at least Southern California, it's all Shein. It's basically Shein.
Yeah.
Except not at Shein prices.
Right, they like triple the price.
Yeah, I'm like, these shorts on Shein are $5 and you're telling me I have to pay $12? Absolutely not.
Goodwill is silly sometimes. I'm like, you literally got this for free.
Yeah, literally. And then like they have like a whole like Goodwill scandal happening about like Goodwill, like anytime they get anything really good, they like set it to the side
it in the back
and then have it sent off to like make a bunch of money elsewhere. And I'm like, we're supposed to be finding like hella good deals and you're just like stealing that from us, which I find just not okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Bridgerton. Do you want to make a dress? That is on my list amongst many other things. But yeah, so Bridgerton's very spicy. The first season is definitely the spiciest season in my opinion, because so each season typically centers around one of the Bridgerton children. So the first season is about the eldest daughter, Daphne, who I love as a character, and I think the actress who plays her is absolutely amazing. Um, but like season one is the only season we get to see Daphne in. She is not in season four at all.
What?
She has missed 4 weddings and a funeral. And I'm like,
Wow.
girlfriend, just
Crazy.
because you're married to the Duke of Hastings, doesn't mean that you just can't show up. She's also the eldest. It's kind of crazy how they just kind of like let her like be written out, and I'm like, she's literally the eldest daughter. What do you mean? What do you mean? Because the eldest son Anthony is still in every season. He was in this season very little, but he's off on his honeymoon with his Indian wife in India, which is great for him. Um, but yeah, Daphne's just kind of like disappeared, and I'm like, there's 7 Bridgerton children, and we only get to see 6 of them all of the time. What do you mean? So I'm salty about that because I actually Daphne. Listen, she's a very prim, proper, by the rules kind of gal, but as the eldest daughter, you typically have to be, especially when
Yeah.
you've got, uh, you know, 5 siblings underneath you. Absolutely. Um, but she's amazing. I love, she's kind of like, she's got like a stick up her butt a little bit, but she's also like super loving and super caring, and so I love her. So I'm really sad that season one's the end. So that's why I end up rewatching Bridgerton, because I'm like, ah, I miss Daphne, and then I rewatched the first season. Also, the actor who plays the Duke of Hastings, I don't remember what his actual name was, but originally, like, I guess he left the Bridgerton show because he was gonna have this big, amazing, like, acting career, and I think I've maybe seen him in 2 other things besides Bridgerton, and I'm like, I don't know if that was a smart move, my guy. Like, you could be making that Bridgerton money, but now you're not.
True.
Ripperino. But anyways, so season 4 of Bridgerton centers around my favorite of the Bridgerton children, which is Benedict Bridgerton. He's the second oldest boy. He's an artiste. He does, like, in the first couple of seasons, because he's obviously the spare, technically, because Antony's the heir to the Bridgerton estate, and he's the spare. So he's got a good old like identity crisis. He's kind of like what I would describe as the emo one of the Bridgerton
Mm.
family. He's an artiste. He's got identity crisis written all over him. He's also a bisexual king, which
We
apparently is
love
my
that.
type. Yeah, I love that for him. Apparently, that's my type in fictional men, and real men for that matter. So there you have it. And he is a sweetie pie. I love him. I actually learned that in the book, he's a bit of a dick, or he's actually a lot a bit of a dick. And I was like, oh, not my Benedict. I mean,
He
I know
could
he's got
never.
dick in his name, but like, come on. Um, but yeah, so I'm really glad for the show. They made him like very sweet. He's very in tune to like how his family is feeling and like who needs him. And I love that a lot of his like younger siblings like find like they seek his counsel a lot, like, I don't know what this means, and blah 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 and yada yada. He's just like always there. He's such like an integral part of the Bridgerton family. And it was very sweet because actually towards the end of the season, his mother was like, out of all the kids, you are most like me, and that's why I love you so much. And I'm like, oh my god, Mama Bridgerton, you're gonna make me cry. um but anyway, so this season, every season is pretty much the same. You just like switch out the characters. So this
Hmm.
season it was Benedict and his love interest for the season. Her name is Sophie, and like all Bridgerton couples, they always come with some kind of catch. This season, Sophie is a maid, which for a gentleman, as Benedict Bridgerton is, it is not socially acceptable to marry a maid. but when they meet, because she does a very good, it's a very Cinderella styled season, because she has, basically like a wicked witch of a stepmom, which her
Hmm.
stepmother is actually played by the actress who played Cho Chang in the Harry Potter movies. So it was,
What?
yeah. I don't think, one, she looks old enough to be a mother, but also two, I loved seeing her in this. She plays such a good, awful stepmom. Like she has like that perfect like pinched face where they just look always angry all of the time.
Hmm.
And she wears all black throughout the whole season. So, and then she's got her hair's always done really big and beautiful. And she's just like a really good wicked stepmother. Um, but so Sophie is actually the I'm gonna call her Cho Chang. That's not her character's name in Bridgerton.
Close enough.
But Cho Chang was
Welcome
married to
back, Cho Chang.
Sophie's. Yeah, welcome back, Cho Chang. Sophie's father was had a child out of wedlock, which is what Sophie is. And so when Cho Chang and him got married, he was like, listen, she's, you know, out of wedlock, but she's still my daughter, and I'm still gonna take care of her. But in true wicked stepmother fashion, she's like, he said I had to keep you in my house. And it turns out she was gonna get like basically 2,000 extra dollars a year if the longer she kept her in the house. But she's like, I don't really like you because you're out of wedlock, which is like very taboo. So you're gonna be my maid, and I'm not gonna pay you
It's
the entire
terrible.
time. Yeah,
That's
she doesn't pay
awful.
her anything. But Sophie does fortunately get most of the education because Cho Chang's got two daughters. So she does get like the same education kind of. So she knows how to read and write and speak French, and she doesn't know how to dance though. So when she does her little Cinderella moment, because Cho Chang and the two daughters got invited to the Bridgertons, because so every quote unquote season, because they have a season where you bring your daughters out to society, and then like by the end of the season you want them to be married. And so the Bridgertons host the first ball of the season, and it's a masquerade, which is very fantastical.
Ooh,
It's so
beautiful.
pretty. Like, honestly, even if you don't want to watch Bridgerton for the story, which I find very entertaining, the set design for Bridgerton is absolutely stunning, and the Bridgerton house is one of my favorite like pieces of this series. Um but it's a masquerade, and so Sophie, in good Cinderella fashion, with the help of the headmaid and one of the footmen, they find an old silver dress, and she puts it on, and she goes to the ball and has a wonderful night, and that's how her and Benedict meet. Um but one of my favorite memes, and one of the things that like didn't dawn on me until I finished it, was somebody was like, get Benedict Bridgerton some glasses, because he spends like a good 75% of this season looking for the girl in silver, which is Sophie. Sophie is Asian, and she's one of like maybe four Asians in this show. And Benedict couldn't remember that. He can remember the necklace she wore and what her lips look like, but he could not remember that she was an Asian girl. But
Wow.
so they have, yeah, so they have their little meet cute, and then of course he's the tortured artist all season, so he's just on the search. And Sophie's like, he doesn't love me, he just likes the idea of me. And two of her friends around her are like, no, I think he likes you like a lot. He like will not give up. And so he just kind of he ends up dragging his mom and his sister Eloise into like this search for the girl in silver. And then one day just is like, oh, I can't, woe is me, I can't find her. I'm just gonna like go off into the
Give up.
countryside. Yeah, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna go off into the countryside and party with my friends. Which lo and behold, Sophie actually ends up working at the house because there's a lot of stuff happens, and Cho Chang is like, "Get out of my house. I don't ever want to see you ever again." And so Sophie leaves and she finds work elsewhere. And then Benedict goes to this house because it's one of his friends' houses. And then he rescues her. Well, actually, he rescues one of Sophie's fellow maids and Sophie, for that matter, from being assaulted by
Oh my
another
god.
friend of his. Yeah, it was very traumatic. I'm like, oh my gosh. Um, and then they're like, he's like, I'll take you back to London, and she's like, that's okay, because like now her wicked stepmother is like, you're never gonna work in this town again, rah, rah, rah. So she's telling everybody she knows, do not hire Sophie, terrible maid, 0 out of 10, we'll take your shoe clips. Even though Sophie didn't take the shoe clips, technically her stepsister gave them to her because, you know, Posey, who I sent you a reel. Posey's one of my favorite side characters of this season. But Posey is so sweet and so kind. And she's like, I know my mom is kicking you out of the house, but here's some shoe clips that I stole from my mother. You can sell them to get you some money and you should be okay for like a week. And so that's what Sophie did. Um, but yeah, so anyways, so Sophie's like, I don't want to go back to London. That's okay, Mr. Bridgerton, you can just be on your way. And he's like, no, no, I insist. And so they get in a carriage. In a true blue romantic fashion, it starts raining in the midst of their carriage journey to
Of
London.
course.
And they're in like one of those like open air carriages, so there's no roof. So they have to like, stop somewhere for the night. And Benedict goes, actually, I have a family cottage like down the road. Cottage is not the word I would use to describe this mansion. It's a mansion. It's like, it's not a castle, but it's definitely a mansion. And like, because they refer to it several times as a cottage before you actually even see it. And then you see it, and even Sophie was like, cottage is not the word I would use. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Sophie is like the most realistic girl in this entire series, and I love her for it because she never like, she wears every emotion on her face, which is absolutely hilarious, especially when she's mad. You can tell. Like, you can practically see the steam coming out of her ears. But anyway, so they pull over for the night in the cottage, and of course Benedict, in his act of heroicness in saving her from being, um I'm trying to think if the guy had a knife or not. I don't know, but he saved her, right? And in turn actually got stabbed. And so like his
Oh my
wound gets
god.
really bad, and she's got to like take off his shirt because she's got to like tend to the wound. So we get to see a lot of shirtless Benedict, which I am here for. Um
You're like, yes, please, thank you.
yeah, I'm like, he can stay that way, actually. Both of the elder Bridgerton men, um, the three elder Bridgerton men can just, they don't need shirts. They can just bare
Yeah,
chest
just
all the time.
that's fine.
Yeah. And so, they had their little meet cute. It's just them and then the two, I don't want to call them servants, but I guess that's the house caretakers, Mr. and Mrs. Crabtree. And Mrs. Crabtree is like, I see what's happening here, Benedict Bridgerton. You better keep your hands to yourself. Spoiler alert, he did not keep his hands to himself. Sophie didn't keep her hands to herself either. Uh, and so they have their little meet cute, and then Benedict's like, maybe I don't want the lady in silver. Maybe I want Sophie instead, which is arguably worse at the time because he doesn't know that Sophie is the lady in silver. But now he wants to marry a maid, which is a no bueno in this
No
universe.
go.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of social constructs happening that's just gonna be like, no, no, especially because, I mean, Daphne married a duke, and then Antony married a lady, and Colin married a lady, and so she's like, I know you're the spare, and I know it doesn't matter anymore, but you can't marry the maid.
No.
Um,
Nope.
but my favorite piece in that is that like they get back to London and they like pull up to the front of the Bridgerton house and Sophie's like, I thought you were gonna, because Benedict's like, I'll find you a new job. Don't worry, because it kind of made you lose your last one, even though my friend is a butthead. And so they like pull up to the Bridgerton estate and Sophie's like, I thought you were taking me to my new employer. And he's like, I am. It's my family. And she's like, I can't work for you. That's that seems like a not good idea. And he's like, no, no, don't
No, it's
worry.
fine.
It'll be great. As they like sit there and like tiptoe around each other and give each other cute little smiles and like they blush and they're like, oh, and then like every time they like get near each other, they get all nervous and it's super cute. Um, but my favorite thing is because Benedict ends up talking with his mom at one point, and because she's like she can see right through him. She's like, I know you have a crush on Sophie, and the answer is no, you can't marry her. She's a maid. And he's like, but mom, I love her. And she's like, fine, we'll figure it out. You'll marry the maid somehow. She goes, but you're going to have to be banished to the countryside and you're not going to be able to come home ever. And we're not going to be able to go to you hardly ever. And he was like, I mean, I got to do what I got to do. And she's like, okay, well, I don't like that. So we're going to figure out a different way. Um, I mean, all's well that ends well. They do end up, spoiler alert, they end up getting married. It was very cute. But Bridgerton is so much fun. And I know I just gave you like probably the most worst short version of it ever, but I also don't want to spoil anything because it's one of those
True.
things that you really do have to watch it because
Mm-hmm.
everything interconnects so well. I think Bridgerton is one of Netflix's best shows that they've ever had. So honestly, give it a watch. But it's filled with, and every season is filled with different drama. Like there's not
Mm-hmm.
typically anything that repeats. And then we got like reintroduction. They actually killed somebody this season, and I was like, oh
Oh
my
my god.
god. Yeah, yeah. So if nobody wants spoilers, skip ahead. But
Or yeah, plug
um
your ears.
but so the second eldest daughter, Francesca, she got married in the last season as like a mini side story. And um her she's like the quiet one out of all the Bridgertons are they're a family of 7 children, so it's very loud and there's always something happening and there's a lot of like hands and just everybody is everywhere. And so Francesca is very quiet, she's timid, she keeps to herself, she's she's kind of like a classic like Belle almost, where she's always got her nose in a book. She like playing the piano forte, and she doesn't like social gatherings. She would much rather stay home, which, what a queen. So would I sometimes. Um, but anyway, so her and her husband got married the last season. And then so this season, we kind of get to delve into them a bit more because she's the only one that hasn't gotten immediately pregnant right after getting married. And so we get to see her kind of like struggle of, she's like, this is my only job and I'm not like I'm failing. I'm not doing it correctly. What is wrong with me? So we get to kind of see her crisis because she much like Daphne was like, you get married, you have a family, and you do your wifely duties, and you're good to go. Except she's not excelling in the wifely duties, and so she's sending her into a tizzy because she's very type A. Everything has to be perfect and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful and organized, and she likes being on a schedule. Like she is
Can't
much like,
relate.
yeah, yeah. The only thing I can relate to is she's like, I want to be in bed by 10 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
same.
I can relate to
I
that.
also want to be in bed by 10 o'clock. But anyway, so like her and her husband's relationship is very sweet and very endearing, and you're just like, oh my god, they're just like two slightly awkward, but very cute people that are kind of just like always there. Well, they decided to, I actually legit cried. They ripped my heart out because her husband was, he's been having like the first like 2 episodes, I think he was like, oh my god, I have a headache, I don't know what's wrong. And I'm like, please don't tell me that that headache is going to evolve. It did. It did.
Oh,
He
rip.
was like, I'm gonna go take a nap, my head really hurts, I'm gonna go lay down,
That's a bad
wake me in
idea.
half an hour. And then he died.
Oh
So
my
we had
god, rip.
we had to see Francesca find him first of all, because she was like, "Oh, darling, it's time to get up." And then he just like didn't do
Damn.
anything. And then she's like, "Haha, time to get up." And then
This is a
yeah,
silly prank.
yeah, she's like, "Stop." And then she touches him, and he's cold because he's been laying there for half an hour. And you get to see her freak out in real time. Which honestly, the actress that plays Francesca, I wasn't sure about her because Francesca, again, she's very like quiet, timid, not a lot of emotional range happening. But this actress, to watch her play Francesca falling apart in real time, she needs all of the awards. Honestly, like, it was so realistic and I bawled my eyes out. And
10 out of
so
10.
10 out of 10. So we get to see a funeral, like a big funeral, for the first time, because people have like died in the past, but it's like a shady situation. And so, and then like these people have done like society wrong, so they just don't get a funeral because they were terrible people. But this one, he was a gentleman. He had his he was from Scotland, which was kind of cool. So they, you got to deal with all of that. And then of course Francesca, like the only way she would get to keep the estate and all the money is if she was pregnant. And she was like, I know I am because I've missed my period. And it turns out that that wasn't true. She was not pregnant. And so not only did she have to deal with her husband dying, but also she never had a child with
Damn.
him. So like, to, and again, very type A, very like, we got to keep it on the schedule. So you get to see her go through the funeral process as a type A person. And one of those people, it's like when people go to work after somebody dies and they're like, you don't have to go to work, you can just stay home. And they're like, no, I need to go to work. Like, I
Yeah.
need to do something that is not related to this. And so she kind of moves like that for um quite a while. And so it's kind of interesting because whereas like he also has a cousin that was like staying with them at the time, and she's the exact opposite. She's like crying her eyes out, but she also wants to throw a big party in celebration of him. And Francesca's like, no, we're doing a classic funeral and that's it. And so you get to see them kind of clash. And so like this season just had a lot of like emotional things happening with so many different people. Um, and we even got to bring back some characters that I didn't think we were gonna bring back. I'm trying to think what her name is. Calper, I know is her last name. Oh my gosh, hold on. Let me look it up. Cressida. Cressida. I think you would also enjoy Cressida Calper. She kind of reminds me of Effie Trinket from the Hunger Games. She's very like, she's a bit ditzy, but she's also really smart. But she has the most outlandish frocks out of almost everybody besides the queen. Like, honestly, her and the queen, both the most outlandish outfits you've ever seen. But her return was kind of exciting. She's the same age as Eloise Bridgerton, and Penelope. So it's kind of cool to see them because they had a very like headbutting relationship in the past seasons. So this season, it's like they finally kind of start realizing like what the other had to endure, because like Cressida's mother and her father for that matter are very, you need to find a husband and you need to find one now before you get old and blah 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 and yada yada. And it's just like, she's like 18, leave the girl alone. um but yeah, so this season, honestly, Benedict's my favorite, so this season has been my favorite. I am again kind of sad that like both Antony and Daphne are just like nowhere to be found for the most
They're just
part.
gone.
Yeah, Daphne is completely gone. She's been gone for literally like 3 seasons at this point. And Antony was like here and there. Antony is played by what's his name? Oh gosh. Also another pretty gay man. What are men doing to deserve beautiful men like this? Jonathan Bailey, who plays
Oh,
Fiyero in Wicked.
yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love to the one thing I actually really enjoyed about this season, but I've also enjoyed about other seasons. So this season, Benedict didn't get any kind of glow up like outside wise because he's beautiful. He just kind of like got a glow up personality wise, whereas like both Anthony and Colin Bridgerton, for all intents and purposes, they got a glow up, like a physical one. Because Anthony went from being like this very like stereotypical Regency era man with this really like terrible sideburns and like a terrible fluffy hairdo happening to Jonathan Bailey's typical like slick back, really sexy looking, you know,
Hmm.
situation. And same thing with Colin Bridgerton. So I kind of like that, like for Benedict, it was a personality glow up and not a physical one. Also obviously means he's the best looking Bridgerton, which when he smiles, he's so cute. He just has the cute, his face gets all wrinkly. I love him. So cute. Um but yeah, I want to see. I didn't actually even look up what songs they had in this season because they always do really cool instrumental covers of pop songs. Ah, yes. So they had DJ Got Us Fallen in Love by Usher.
Oh.
They have Never Let You Go by Third Eye Blind. Enchanted by Taylor Swift. I feel like Taylor Swift, there's always a Taylor Swift song. Um, a lot of her stuff just tends to be very beautiful as an instrumental. They have All I Wanted by Paramore.
Amazing.
Yeah, they have Bad Idea, right? By Olivia Rodrigo. 360 by Charlie XCX. Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. So they had some really like good songs. And
Hmm.
one thing I really like about just kind of like the sound mixing of Bridgerton is like some of these songs tend to kind of sit more in the background than being at the foreground. So like you'll be sitting there and people will be talking and whatever, and you're like, I know this song, but
You're
I
like, why do
don't
I
know it.
recognize this song?
Especially because like I never like look anything up before I start the season. I just like jump right in. And there's a couple of songs that I've been able to pick out. Like they had, I think it was season 2, they had Material Girl by Madonna. Material
Yeah,
Girl by
yeah, yeah,
Madonna.
yeah.
And then I think the my favorite one is still Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams, which was from season 1.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it's so beautiful as like an instrumental. But yeah, so I'm very excited to see what they have in store for next season. I've never read any of the books, so I don't know like what at first I thought, because the first 2 seasons you go from Daphne to Antony, and so I thought Benedict would have been next, but they were like, "Oh, nope, we're diverting to Colin." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know who's going to be like the main. I'm hoping it's Francesca because she's going to be navigating a lot of grief, and obviously she the rest of the season she's like, I'm never gonna get married again, I've already had my big love, blah blah blah, yada yada. I'm like, girlfriend, but you want to be a mom, like that's her dream, is to be a mother. And so I'm just
Hmm.
like, at least of one child. I know she's not gonna have a huge family like her mom did because 7 kids is kind of crazy, but also
Yeah, it's a lot.
yeah, Mrs. Bridgerton though is very beautiful. So I understood why her husband was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make another baby." Um, so I'm not sure who's going to be the main character of this next one, but I do hope that Jonathan Bailey's schedule allowing that Anthony Bridgerton will be in this next season a bit more. He's the Viscount Bridgerton, so he's like the head of the Bridgerton household because
Mm-hmm.
his father is dead.
Mm.
And so he's of age and now he's married and has a child, a boy to boot. So I hope he's going to be a bit more involved, but we shall see. But also, even if you don't watch this show, just look on Instagram, like, or TikTok, because
Mm-hmm.
the
TikTok, yeah.
the cast loves to make a good TikTok, and I love
Oh,
that because
okay.
they're in their garb, in their wardrobe, and I'm like, I love that. That just makes me
They're beautiful
giggle.
outfits.
Yes, doing silly little TikTok dances, silly little TikTok trends, which I love. And then like I love that everybody participates. Like there's no like, oh, only the younger kids are doing it. No, all of Queen Charlotte and Lady Danbury and everybody is jumping in on the TikToks, which I love. I've also
I might
blabbed
have to
at you
check it
for
out.
like, you're gonna have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. It's really good. And I dare say you probably don't even have to watch the seasons, all of them. Like just pick a season. You'll probably won't understand some of like the drama that's happening, but I feel like for the most part they're really good at like circling back to certain
Mm-hmm.
information. So like even if you're like, wait, what is happening? And then somebody will be like, don't you remember that, X weeks ago or X months ago that this happened? And you go, ah, okay. So I definitely check it out. It's a very, very beautiful show. I love because everything's very like dramatized and gaudy and super like the maximalist in me loves the design of everything in this show because like even just their costumes. Like I think Daphne was probably the only one that had the simplest costumes, but like it's very fitting of her character. But
Mm-hmm.
like Queen Charlotte, like she normally has at least 16 wigs every season.
Amazing.
And I mean, like even if you just put it on the background and just glance at the screen when Queen Charlotte is on there, you her wig, like she had one wig which was I think one of my favorite looks she's ever had, where she like had like the classic like Regency curls in the front, but like the main part of the wig is in, it's like a big, it looks like a big cage in the shape of a heart. Yeah.
What?
And I learned today via the Bridgerton Instagram that that's actually made out of hair. Like the whole thing. The
That's
cage and
crazy.
all. Her some of her stuff is so gravity defying. Also, it makes me terrified for her life because one of them had like the hair went up like 2 feet beyond her head and had like a little alcove in it with a candle. She had a
Oh my
candle in her
god.
wig.
What the heck?
And then there was one, I think it was last season, where she had like there was like a little motorized thing in it, so it looked like there was like swans swimming in her wig.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And like geniuses to everybody who creates those wigs because like how do you even get to work?
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
crazy. Bridgerton also has a prequel show called Queen Charlotte, which even though it is a prequel, I feel like you should watch at least the first season because then you'll see her as
Mm-hmm.
she is now, and then Queen Charlotte kind of obviously shows you how she got to be in that position and how she got to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Charlotte is such like a she's a great character. She's so multifaceted because we see her because she is married to King George, but King George has an illness. So actually don't, I think we see him once in the regular Bridgerton series. Um and that's it. So that's why you see Queen Charlotte by herself all the time because he is sick. He cannot be out with the public for almost any reason, really. He's bedridden a lot of the time, and so she has to kind of like build this facade that she is a strong leader on behalf of her husband. But like watching the series and then watching Queen Charlotte, you realize she's just a girl. She
Just a
was just a
girl.
girl that somebody was like, "You're gonna marry the king," and she was like, "Excuse me, I don't want to marry the king. Then I have to, yeah, basically going to be in a cage, and I don't want to do that." She's very free spirited, and they were like, "It's your duty. You're going to marry the king," and then so she kind of just has to live that life and find her way. And I mean, I would imagine as the queen, it's also very hard to make friends that are not people that work for you. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, she's really cool, and also she loves her little tidbits of gossip like that. That is what like feeds her soul, is the gossip. So when oh my gosh, I have no brain today.
Me either. It's been a long day. It's a
It
Tuesday.
honestly, yeah, it has been a day. Lady Whistledown is the word I was looking. Whistledown was the word I was looking for. So Lady Whistledown is basically a gossip column that comes out, I think, on a weekly basis. Maybe I've
Mm-hmm.
never paid that much attention. But the first season, Queen Charlotte is like, "Who is doing this? How dare they?" But also, bring me 12 more. Like, she's like, "I hate, like, I can't believe somebody is writing this down and reporting it, and we don't know who, but also I'm gonna need an advance copy in the next round, okay?" And she's such a character. Honestly, a lot of the characters in Bridgerton are phenomenal. So I highly recommend. It's also something you could definitely put on the background and still keep up. It's
Yeah.
not it's not immensely complicated. But also if you binge through all 4 seasons right now, you gotta wait another 2 years before season 5 comes out.
Dang. How long did it take you to binge it?
So technically 2 days.
And how many episodes is it?
8? They did
Oh,
it in
that's
two
not too bad.
parts, but I didn't watch it in 2 parts.
Oh.
Um, yeah, they did that. Yeah, it's 8 episodes, so they did 4 and 4. And so when the first 4 came out, I was like, "Ooh, I gotta watch this. This is," but also because it's my favorite character, I'm like, I need to sit and pay attention because this is his
Yeah.
season. I need to watch it with both eyeballs and full brain cell, not half brain cell. And so by the time I actually sat down and watched it, I watched the first two because I actually got up early enough that I watched the first 2 episodes before I went to work. And Bridgerton's one of those shows that, like, when I sit down to watch it, I'm not going to do anything else. I will be on the
Yeah.
couch all day. But I watched the first 2 and then unfortunately had to go to work because I don't think my boss would really like if I called out to watch Bridgerton and not watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which he and I are both watching, and he keeps pestering me because I haven't finished it yet, and I have one episode left. Um, and I told him because I think it was last week. He's like, "Did you watch the new episode?" And I was like, "I got distracted by Bridgerton, so no, I have not."
Like, my bad. My bad.
Yeah,
Had
but
other
yeah,
plans.
I watched the first 2 and then binged the rest the following day because it was my day off, and I didn't realize, but it worked out perfectly that I started watching this season when the second half was getting what came out. So I just got to binge through the whole thing because I would have been devastated if I had to stop at episode 4.
Yeah.
Like, nah,
True.
dog. Mm-mm. But it's very good. I highly recommend. It's a good drama. It's not too long. I think all the episodes are like an hour.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, and there's usually like again like a lot happening, so it goes very quickly.
Hmm. I will definitely keep
Maybe
it
check it
in
out.
my watch list.
You should. It's very good. I think you will enjoy Queen Charlotte as a character. Um, yeah. I don't know. Everybody's just so good, but I think you will resonate with Queen Charlotte, I feel.
Okay. I'll add it
And
to the watch
also
list.
what was her name? Carissa. I think that's her name. You'll like her because she loves pink and
Oh,
sparkly.
amazing.
Yeah. So, and she's, I mean, like her, she kind of reminds me of like a Glinda esque lady, where like the more pink and the more sparkle she can have, she will. And I do love sometimes her sleeves get hilariously huge. I'm just like, girl, is that practical? But she doesn't care. It's big and pink and sparkly, and that's what matters.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, do you have any questions now that I've blabbed for 50 minutes about Bridgerton?
I think I asked all my questions. I'm definitely gonna add it to my wish list because just like the outfits alone are really pretty.
Yeah. And then you'll start getting into like the set design and stuff, and oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And it just like it gets more grand every season, and you're just like, how? Like, this is why
Honestly,
it takes so long to make these shows.
I probably will watch it because sometimes I get like show paralysis
Mm.
where
Mhm.
like I know I have things to watch, but I don't know what to watch.
Yeah.
So now I'll know what to watch. Although I've been like slowly making my way through Fallout.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those like Bridgerton for me is one of those things like when they go, "Oh, the new season's about to be out." I'm like, "Okay." The second that releases, clearing the calendar.
Yeah,
I don't
busy.
care who's asking me if I've finished XYZ. It doesn't matter. Bridgerton is out and I'm going to watch Bridgerton.
Yeah.
But also it makes me really want to rewatch the entire series, and I'm really trying really hard not to do that because I'm trying to watch like new stuff. But
Yeah.
Bridgerton, I love
Sometimes it's hard
rewatching.
though.
Yeah. Like, I've been really good. I haven't rewatched Supernatural in like a year. 2 years?
Wow.
I'm resisting real hard because I know the second I start Supernatural, you're
It's
gonna see me
over.
in 15 seasons. Like, I'm not gonna be watching anything else. Both Joe and Wyatt keep getting on me about continuing my One Piece journey, and I'm like, it's going. It's just very slow.
It's and long.
Yeah. And I love One Piece. And I'm actually at the point where we're moving faster in the episodes now. There's not any filler for the most part. Um but I'm just like, but Bridgerton is out. I have to watch Bridgerton. Also another show I'm trying not to rewatch is Sweet Magnolias on Netflix, which is also a drama show, but that's like present day real world drama. Um
Hmm.
But every once in a while, I will hear like a song from that show, and I'm just like, I should rewatch that. But I don't have time to do that. So we will not be. Gotta watch other
Yeah.
things. Gotta watch other things. But I highly recommend Bridgerton. Even if you are not into drama shows, it is very dramatized. So it's very comedic. And you're just like this season, Benedict really just needs some glasses so he can remember what Sophie's face looks like. And then other times you just like Anthony just needs to get out of his own way because at one point he's like, I don't want to be the Viscount. I'm just gonna leave and run away with this actress that I'm in love with. And I'm like, baby, are you really in love with her? Or are you in love with the idea of not being the Viscount? Like, also, a side tidbit. I'm pretty sure this season has had the best side characters, and I don't know if that's just because like Sophie is like a maid, so she's like a normal person and not like a crazy rich person. Um, but she has a coworker slash friend named Alfie, who is a Scotsman. So he says her name like Sophie. He's a Sophie. I'm like, ugh, gosh, that accent, 10 out of 10. But also, he's the sweetest bean. I love Alfie with all of my heart. And she also has a best friend whose name I cannot think of, but she is missing an arm. So it was kind of cool to see somebody with a disability kind of navigate the working world because she is also a maid. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and Benedict was really sweet because she Sophie's friend worked at like the other place that he rescued Sophie from, and then Sophie was telling him about her, and he was like, I'll get her a job too." And then he was just like, "Hey, mom, can you give this other girl a job as well?" But it was really cute, and there's a lot of like little like mini side romance, which is super cute. I don't know. This season has been my favorite season. I may be biased because Benedict is my favorite. But him and Sophie are really cute together. So I do like when the pairing is perfect because if she was even a little bit off, I'd be like, ugh, why? But Sophie's really cute in the story. I love a good Cinderella story, honestly. So
Mm-hmm.
I love this season. But I'm gonna stop talking now. Casey, do you have anything to add to this ramble? Besides that, you maybe will watch Bridgerton.
I think that's it. I'm gonna add it to the watch list for sure.
Do that. Everybody listening, add Bridgerton if you haven't watched it.
Yes.
Um, it is a very good show to lay on the couch with a little snack and a little drink and just binge through it. Don't watch it with anybody. Just watch it by yourself. It's just a
Yeah.
nice, like, little me activity, in my
A little
opinion.
me time.
Yeah. Force yourself to relax because you deserve it. You also deserve a nap, so make sure to take one of those. Casey and I are going to go to bed.
Yes.
And it's we have both been up very long. But subscribe and all that jazz, and we will see you guys in the next episode. So bye.
Goodbye.